The Fantasy Skirmisher.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Fantasy Skirmisher. This is Nevin, and today we've got a bloodbath playing the first act of the White Dagger campaign that is in Close Quarter Battles, which is a supplement for the game Sellswords and Spellslingers. And Close Quarter Battles here, I did a video on this earlier, and this is a game for smaller, shorter games, which is really ideal for solitaire play. The White Dagger campaign in this book has a real heavy RPG feel because it's got interlude events, which is determined by these cards here. I got prepared, much like us Rangers of Shadow Deep. And I'm really looking forward to get going here. So as you can see, we've got an arena campaign. I built 2 player characters. You get a budget for each player character where you build 1 to 3. That's all you have. And the first character I have, these are both barbarian females. Hazel McBusypie, represented by her, and she has the fighter trait for two-handed sword, which she is trained on, which gives her +1 to melee rolls, and her sword gives her 2 damage. She is strong, a horde fighter level 1, and tough level 1. And then we have got Finlaya the Red, kind of Red Sonja inspired character here. She has got fighter sword and gives her +1 to melee rolls and 1 damage for the sword, but she also has shield, deadly blow trait, and lockpicking level 1. And one thing you'll notice here, next to the XPs, I have something called RP, and those are reputation points. So there are interlude scenarios or situations that occur in between acts. Acts are the major campaign story arc. You also have side quests. So this is going to be really fun to get into. So who else do we have here? So we have gladiators represented by these gnolls right here. And the gnolls are armed for the scenario with tridents and nets. And so they do have a net special ability here. So when you roll a 1 or 2 in melee against the gladiator throws a net, immobilizing the PC. The PC's attack and dodge rolls are -2 until the PC breaks free with a strength roll against a horde's danger level. And you can see their danger level is 7. An immobilized PC may not move or perform shield rolls. So I don't want to get tangled up by a net. And then the baddies of the gladiator groups are the Samu gladiators. So they're beastmen essentially, and they've got a couple cool special abilities, and they are tough. They are a danger level of 11. I have 2 hit points, deal out 2 damage, and they have an ability called Bull Charge, and that is when it charges an unengaged PC, the PC must dodge the danger level of the foe. If failed, the PC suffers damage halved for armor and shield rolls and is knocked prone. If passed, the PC steps aside 1 inch and the foe charges 2 inches behind the PC. PCs in cover cannot be charged. And then you have Buffalo Strength. When you roll a 1 to 2 in melee, roll a d6. A 1 to 3, your shield is smashed. Or a 4 to 6, your weapon is thrown 1d6 inches away in a random direction, which you'll have to go and retrieve for an action. Then we have slaves. So slaves are allied to the player characters, and danger level 7, hit points 1 damage. So basically they're minions, and they get 1 activation per round. And then you've got goblins. They can come in at some point through one of the doors, the south or north doors, as reinforcements for the gladiators and the Samu gladiators. The White Dagger campaign takes place in Lurkana, the city that never sleeps, kind of like New York City here. And it's full of entertainment places like inns, brothels, fighting arenas, shops, markets that stay open throughout the night. And it takes place in the official fantasy game world of Norandal. Lorcana is a city that is also like New York, got lots of different peoples from all over the world. But here you've got, the dwarves and elves and halflings among the residents that are not uncommon. And so with that said, let's go ahead and get into the flavor of the campaign. Let's get started here. Captured, caged, sold, whipped, and beaten. These are the horrible conditions you've been living for months since you've been captured by Karachi slavers on the edge of the Dareshan Empire. After a month of a long and painful walk, the caravan finally reached its destination, the majestic Lorcana, the city that never sleeps. There you were caged again, this time in the cells of the Guild of Civic Entertainments. The sights of these large arenas, their terrifying sounds of clashing blades, the screams of wild beasts tell that your future isn't bright anymore. All right, first up is Hazel. She is just going to roll for one action. We're going to be cautious, kind of moving up towards our foe who outnumbers us. She rolls an 18. I wish I would have saved that for combat, right? All right, so she is going to move 4 inches up towards the column here. And then we've got Finlaya. She rolls a 9. And so she is going to do the same thing, just kind of going to stick together here. And then what we're going to do is we are going to move our slaves here. We're going to cautiously try to move around here, and maybe we can kind of do a right hook into everybody. We'll see. All right, I think I'm going to do the same thing. So just roll 1 die for 1 action for Hazel. And she rolled a 1, so we have got an event. And the event is Ambush. Okay, so with Ambush, we have 1 gladiator that jumps off the nearest pillar here and attacks. Isn't that great? So let's grab... Jumps off the column. There we go. Now the minions' danger level has increased by 2 because of this is a surprise. It's an ambush. So we're going to roll. Come on, Hazel. So she gets +2 to melee rolls. She rolls a 15 plus 1 is 16. So thankfully hits the gladiator whose danger level with the +2 is 9 and hits. Just 1 hit point. Now I think I'm going to move these guys up before I roll. Let's see, I'm going to try for 2 actions here. So let's see what Finlaya can do. She rolls 2 dice and rolls a 1 and an 18. So we have another event. Horde activates. The horde closest to the PC activates. They're not shooters. All right, so they're going to maneuver. And I think they are going to move close to these guys here, the slaves. Now, if I got a couple of slaves that survive, that will give me an increase, I recall, of reputation points, which is, like I said, the other type of currency in this campaign, which just kind of gives this more of an RPG feel. All right, now I've got my action, and she is going to move up to support the slaves that are thrown in with their rusty weapons. And of course, they are terrified. It is back to Hazel, and I think she is going to roll a couple of dice. She's got the Horde Fighter ability, so I think she needs to get in and help here. All right, she got both her activations. So she is going to charge right in, which gives her a free attack. Now she's a horde fighter, so typically, you know, their danger level is 7, can be 8, 9, 10, but the danger level is 9 because horde fighter -1 is why we've got the danger level of 9 that we have to beat. So we roll the die. She rolled a crit, a 20. That's awesome. So we remove 1 from the back. And I'm going to replace it with this mini, which I pulled it out of my case and has a broken sword. So that one's out of the game. Cool, cool. Now I have a rules question for you guys. So her longsword does +2 damage. She rolled a crit. So theoretically she rolls +2 damage. So I removed 1 knoll. But would the other damage go towards another knoll? I mean, I would assume so. Barbarian, right? Swinging broadly, hitting multiple characters. Plus, she rolled a crit. So therefore, she does an additional damage. So that would take away these 2, leaving 1 knoll left. It doesn't specifically state anywhere in the rules. I've looked about melee fighting against hordes, but it doesn't say anything otherwise either. So I'm not sure how to deal with that. But I would think thematically that if I'm fighting a horde, which is acting as a single entity basically, and I deal more than 1 damage, I would remove that many models based on how many hits I get. So I'm going to do that. So if you feel otherwise or know otherwise, please leave a comment. Back to Finlaya. I think she's going to do 1 action as well. We need to stick together. And she rolled a 1. So we have another event. Monsters Frenzy. All foes in play, including hordes and wandering monsters, activate, shooting or charging as appropriate. Resolve their actions in any order as chosen by the acting player. All right, I'm glad I just rolled 1. Let's see what we got here. All right, so some gladiators are each going to move. And then, of course, we got the horde. Gibbering in whatever language that the gnolls gibber in. So we're closing in for a big scrum. Finally, we have Hazel fighting this gnoll here. The gnoll attacks. We rolled a 15, so she hits. Is past the danger level. And that is 1 horde out of the way. It is back to Hazel, and she is going to just roll 1 die. It's rolled, it's a 16, so she is going to charge into Samu Gladiator with a danger level of 11. Ouch. All right, let's hope I could roll that 16 again, right? So we roll the die. I rolled an 8 + 1, 9, so the Samu Gladiator hits Hazel instead and deals 2 damage. So she is down to 1 hit point. Ouch. Finlaya sees that Hazel's in trouble, so she is going to roll. Well, we're going to roll a single action because she's within 4 inches. She could charge. And she rolled an 8, just made it, so she's going to move right in and charge. And she is going to roll danger level 11. Let's see here. So she is going to do her deadly blow. Once per game may do a melee roll +4, so it's going to be a +5 total since she's fighter sword 1. And she rolled a 9, which she needed to do that special ability to inflict a hit. So we've got 1 hit on the Samu Gladiator here. They have 2 hit points. So I need to inflict 1 more. And I'm not sure, but I think the last turn I ignored my slaves. They're just kind of frozen. They're just terrified. They do not want to be here. All right, so they are going to race up the back, though. They see what's going on. They finally got some courage. And they're going to race up to confront the other gladiators. It is back to Hazel. She's going to roll single action. She rolled a 7. So she rolls an event. The event is monster activates. The monster closest to the PC. Well, that obviously is the one she's engaged with. So they are engaged in combat. And she rolls an 11 plus 1. Just made it. Samu Gladiator is out. And so now we are back to Finlaya. So she is going to charge into this Samu Gladiator. Oh, what am I doing? I'm way ahead of myself here. So she is going to roll 1 action. She rolled a 6. It's an event. Horde activates. Yeah, that's going to be fun. Alright, so the Horde is just going to move into the other Horde. And they do it to maximize the space here. There we go. Adjust the camera. Alright, so basically we have a Horde fighting a Horde. So I think the best way for me to deal with it, it's 3 against 4. So they've got a -1 because of being outnumbered. And so danger level goes from 7 to now 8. So they need to get an 8 or better. Rolled an 11. And so one of the gnolls is toast. All right, it is Hazel's turn. She is going to roll single action. She rolled an 8. She is charging into the other Samu Gladiator. And oh boy, let's see what she does here. She rolled exactly an 11. My rolls have been going to 11. So with the +1 melee, it's 12. She does 2 hits damage, which takes out the other Samu Gladiator. Thank goodness, because it could have easily went the wrong way here, and she could have been killed. And now it is these guys here. So my slaves, they're feeling pretty confident because they killed one of the Gnoll Gladiators. So they are going to attack. And they rolled a 15, easily knocking out another one. All right, with Hazel wounded, I think I need to give her a rest. And Finlaya, she knows she needs to pick up the slack, so she's going to roll for 3 actions. She rolled a 1, 2, and 18. So we've got 2 events. The first one is a trap. So according to the scenario book, we need to lay a 2-inch by 2-inch trap randomly, and there is a table for different size maps. I measured the arena itself and it's 18 inches, but I need to step off camera and find a suitable trap. And with the sound of trumpets, the floor opens up in a random space, and any models that may be underneath the trap as it opens, which is a spiked pit, have to make a DL10 dexterity roll. Those on the edge may be pushed in by another for 1 action. So let's go ahead and roll a D20 and a D10. And we're going to go this way first. And so it's only 8 inches in. Okay, so close. And let's see, we'll move up here. Oh boy, okay, so 21 inches. So it is all the way in the corner here. Oh well, just kind of out of the way. And these little trap tokens came from the game Dungeon Saga. So 2 inches by 2 inches. There we go. So it's not going to have any effect on gameplay. All right, but we have another event to draw. And it is Wandering Monster. And there's a specific event for that. I believe it is the Goblins. Wandering Monsters, yes. A horde of DXPC plus 2 goblins is thrown, so roll a d2 and then add 2. So 1 to 3 is a 1. All right, so we have 4 goblins coming in, and they are going to come in from the southern door here. So now we're going to have goblins to face, but hey, they're pretty wimpy. All right, so there's a horde of goblins. And now we've got our action. So she's just going to turn around, and Finlea is going to attack. So she rolls a 19. That is an easy kill. And actually, it's supposed to be from the back of the horde. And we've got one more gladiator to deal with. And then we'll clean up the goblins, and it is game. Now I had Hazel move, and she rolled for 1 action and actually got it. She just moved back. It just did not capture on camera. So now we are back to Finlea. And she is going to let's roll for 2 actions. Let's get crazy. All right, so she rolled a 3 and a 16. So 1 action, but not before drawing another event, which is a scenario event. So let's take a look at what that is. Let's open up our book. Okay, a foe in a random melee throws sand in the eyes of the PC. The PC must pass a danger level 12 dodge roll to avoid it. If failed, the PC is at -2 on all rolls until he spends 1 action to clean his eyes. Okay, foe in a random melee. So there's no melee going on, so I'd say that scenario is discarded. Not everything has to be bad, right? All right, so she's going to take her action. She's going to move up to face the horde of goblins. It is now the slave's action turn, and they're going to do the same thing. And then now we move on to the top of the turn with Hazel. She's just going to roll for 1 action. She rolled a 12. And she's just, she's going to move up. She's going to move up by the column here, just in case they need some support. And now, let's go ahead and roll for Finlea. Let's just do 1 action so she could do a charge attack. Well, let's see if she does a charge attack. She rolled a 5. She drew an event instead. And the event is monster activates. The monster closest to the PC activates. If it is part of a horde, it will detach from the horde in order to perform its attack, charging at the closest PC. All right, so there you go. So now she's got to face off against this goblin. Should be easy because goblins are weak. Goblins are a DL4, I believe, unless it's a shooter. Oh, danger level 5, okay. And she rolled an 11, so that goblin was foolish to charge and get away from his companions there, and is dead. All right, now the slaves, yelling like a bunch of hobbits, charging, move in for their charge, And it's a 3-3, so I'm just going to say it's straight up DL5 roll. They rolled a 3. Oh boy, so the first slave is dead. And you know what? I am going to take it away from this guy here. And now we're at the top of the turn again. Hazel, she's going to roll one action. Roll the 3. It's another event. He's loaded. The monster closest to the PC has double the normal SPs or gem treasure, if any. Okay, so it's one thing I didn't do, which I should do, because there is a rule in close quarter battles that bodies should be in the field because they become basically slippery guts. So it creates a bit of an obstacle. So I'm going to turn off my camera, be right back, and place some tokens where some of the bodies were, which will now become difficult. All right, I'm back, and you see I left some tokens. This just represents, the dead bodies, and of course they can be searched. I'm going to rule, since this is a fight to the death, there's really no time to start searching bodies in an arena. They're trying to fight for their lives. And the slippery guts rule, it's difficult terrain over here, but if it's only 2 or more bodies, that it creates difficult terrain. So this does not create a slippery gut situation. Technically, that's just for searching for, the few silver pieces that may be on one of the minions or gladiators. Okay, so back to the fight. So Hazel had that 1 roll with the event. So we're gonna roll, what the heck, let's do 2 actions. Let's go for 2 actions here. We got 2 events instead. All right, so first one is things could get worse. So there's a complication. So let's take a look at what that complication is for this scenario, also known as an act. The battle takes place at noon under a scorching sun that turns the arena into an oven. The foes are used to it, but not the PCs and their allies. All activation rolls are at -2 until the end of the game or when this card is drawn again. That's just lovely. Okay. All right, and then the second event. Ambush. A minion moves out of the spawning point. So that would be, again, the closest column, because they're on top of the column. Jump down and attack. All right, so DL7. She rolled a 10 plus 1. All right, she's able to fend that ambusher off. Oh, that's right. Still got it because it would be a +2, so it would be a 9. Now, we've got the slaves. So the slaves are going to attack. They're at a -1 just because they are now outnumbered. They rolled a 17. It is now an even fight again. Now we're going to move on to Hazel again. So let's see if she can roll an action this time and not an event. She rolls an 11. I seem to be hot on the 11s this game. She is going to move up 4 inches, gets within striking range, but let's see if we could get Fenlia to finish the job. So she is going to roll 2 dice, and she rolled a 1 and a 2. Oh, for Pete's sakes. All right, so Monster's Frenzy, all foes in play, okay? So there's going to be attack here. Slaves roll a 6. It's even. The monster level is 5. So another goblin bites the dust. Thank goodness. And then we roll another event. That may come in handy. So let's see if there's something scenario specific for that. So looking it up in the rules. Don't see anything for that. All right, so this will help us. That may come in handy. So a random PC spots something on the closest terrain patch, bush, tree, boulder, or in this case a column. Choose one of the following: a hand weapon, a rope, a set of lockpicks. A key, a secret message, or jewelry worth 3d6. Okay, so 3d6. The foe closest to that terrain moves towards that terrain. The item is a 1 XP individual award. Okay. So the thing is, the foe is a little bit tied up. So we're just going to say that that shiny thing that was seen is right here. It's silver, and we could easily snatch that up after the fight's over. All right, now let's finish this. So Finlaya, back to the slaves. And the slaves roll 19. And the slaves are the VIPs, man. So the game is over. Let's go ahead and see how this scenario ends. Since we wiped everyone out, the scenario ends and we survived. So a bearded 50-year-old man, his face a maze of scars and wrinkles, approaches you. My name is Velgor Cornan. Your performance was quite impressive. I'm always looking for skilled people. I propose you join the White Dagger, my own company of soldiers of fortune. You would have a 1-year mandatory employment contract to redeem your freedom. After 1 year of good service, you'll have the choice between leaving or staying with us with a much better contract. Are you in? I don't think we have much of a choice. I think we are in. So we join the White Dagger, a company of sellswords well established in Lurkana. PCs, we now have access to the Bazaar of Medir Siran. The Bazaar has its own table of goods somewhere in the book here that we can purchase things. Our rewards, we get 1 experience point per PC plus 1 additional XP if at least 2 slaves who fought with you are still alive. That is the case. So we've got 3 XP each, which is fantastic. The party's reputation increases by 1 point, and each surviving PC receives a small purse of 20 silver coins, 20 silver pieces for their expenses. Now, the following quests are now unlocked. Side Quest 1, The Market. Side Quest 2, Pest Control. And then we move on to Act 2, Undercover. Again, the acts, like we just did, is the overall story arc, but there's a side quest that we could do in any order at any time. I think up to Act 4, what I read earlier. So I think we are going to do in the next video, not now, The Market. Also, we now select 1 random interlude event and 1 gossip. So we are going to level up and select an interlude event and a gossip and do side quest 1, The Market, in the next video. So as you can see here, this campaign adds a lot of RPG elements, which is great, especially if you're a solo player like I'm doing now. All right, guys. Well, thank you again for watching the Fantasy Skirmisher. If you enjoyed this video, please like. I don't post as often as I do like, so YouTube tries to push me aside in the corner here. And subscribe if you like the content that I produce. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.